I have a question for the writers.
Don't go any further.
I'm not.
As far as the production on the show, as far as the story development and the scripts, I was curious as far as like, were the writers working in a writer room? How are you breaking stories? How many stories were you breaking at once? I'm just sort of curious, like, what was the process that you were doing for each episode's story development?
I wrote them, and it took me one day to write one script. And the only time I did anything simultaneously, I was working on the Transformers at the same time I was working on Gobots and Mighty Orbots. And sometimes I would get confused, and this is on typewriter before you had the luxury of having a word processor or a computer. And I would be writing putting Cybertron in the Gobot script, and I would have to go with my liquid paper, take it out. So it got very confusing. But I just I did one until it was finished, and then I cranked out another one.
I'll come on that. This afternoon, Bryce Malek is going to be on a panel, and he was one of our main story editors. Flint Dilley also was a story editor. And there was a process where you first had to submit a premise. And, well, usually we'd submit a group of premises all at one time, like 5. And the story editor would tell you which 1 or 2 he liked. And then, at least with me, they wanted to see a treatment first, where you kind of write out the whole story narratively. And then they would approve you to go on and write the screenplay. There were no residuals in those days, and there was one blanket fee paid. I remember starting with Marvel, they paid $4,000 a script. And then, which was a lot more money in those days, actually. And then when we were paid by Sunbow, it went up to $5,000 a script. So for me, I was writing nights and weekends while I was doing production coordination during the week. And I remember I wrote 4 of them. I wrote Chaos and Cosmic Rust, Grimlock's New Brain, and Thief in the Night. Those were the 4 that I did. With our...
I want to get on G.I. Joe because they were paying like $7 or $8 grand for a script.